What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Hill Homestead. My name is Austin. This is my wife Des, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. There are no projects scheduled for today, and I know it's been a while. It's been about 2 weeks since we posted, but it has been very, very rainy, which is something that we need, something that I will not complain about. But there's not many projects that can be done outside because of the mud. So we decided today that we were going to open up a little bit about ourselves and questions you may be asking yourself, but we have not addressed on the channel. So we will get into that now. So typically when you think of people on a homestead, aside from being self-sufficient, having a lot of animals and things like that, you also think that they have help, farm hands or kids. That is something that we do not have currently. I'm 28, Des is 27, and we do not have any kids right now, but there is a reason for that. And Des can tell you the ins and outs of it, but this is something that we've been trying for 3 years now, and we just haven't had any luck with. And Des will get into the nitty-gritty of what she wants to tell you. But you know, throughout watching this video, I know that there are many different views on what we are about to talk about. And I just ask that you guys respect our decisions, our opinions, and you know, we will take all the supportive comments that you guys have. And of course, it's YouTube. This video is out for the world to see. So we know that there could be a lot of negative feedback from this video as well. But we just ask that you kindly, you know, keep it respectful and respect our opinion. So now Des is going to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of what we've been going through and things that she's gone through and how we are dealing with it.
Okay, so after 3 years of trying, so far, after the first year, we went to the doctor and they began like blood work and some tests and things like that. We did find out through pretty early on that my fallopian tubes were blocked. We did a test called an HSG, and that test can be pretty uncomfortable and painful. The first one was kind of hard, but not too bad. They didn't let Austin go back, but mainly because they use x-rays and radiation for that. So it showed that one of my fallopian tubes was completely blocked and the other one was partially blocked. We went through an ultrasound then, and since it was just the fallopian tubes that the test had showed up something was wrong, we went ahead and scheduled a surgery. In that surgery, they found that I had stage 4 endometriosis. They also had to unblock both of the tubes, as one that was partially, was pretty blocked up and the other one was completely blocked up. They also did a DNC to clean up the uterus and things like that. They removed as much of the endometriosis as they could. Then we waited, so that was in November of 2023. And then we waited a few months and nothing had kind of happened for us again. So we went back and did another HSG. That test was very, very painful. Once again, Austin couldn't go back. So it's always a little scary whenever you're by yourself. And then they found that both of the tubes were reblocked. So they actually thought that we would need to go back into surgery, and they were thinking that they were going to have to remove one of my fallopian tubes completely. Then when we did that surgery in July of 2024, some of my endometriosis had already came back, which was pretty rapid growth considering I just had the surgery from November to July. So we did, they removed the endometriosis that had already started to come back. And then they went ahead and went to remove one of my fallopian tubes. And while I was under, the doctor actually called Austin, and they had to make the decision to remove both of my fallopian tubes because I was having what was called reverse menses, which means my cycle was being tracked back into my stomach some. So that was kind of feeding the endometriosis because that like blood and tissue was implanting then inside of my stomach. So they needed to stop that so that it would be a healthy environment for an embryo to be able to be implanted. So I had that surgery in July, and then recovery was pretty tough for that one. My body didn't bounce back quite like it did in November for that surgery. I think too there was some scar tissue from the first surgery, so that kind of made it a little harder. Then they started me on a hormone pill as soon as that surgery happened. So that affected my body, the removal of the fallopian tubes, and then kind of just reopening the scars that I had from the November surgery. So my body didn't bounce back quite as quick as I was hoping. I was very tired. I couldn't lift or hardly do anything for a solid month. Mm-hmm. After that, and so that was hard, and then my hormones were kind of crazy, so that was also hard.
And she's explaining this very well as far as like, I mean, she's making it sound very simple, but before she ever went into surgery, we had a very serious conversation about what we would do if both tubes were blocked and there was not a very good chance of having a natural conception. And so we had kind of made up our minds already that if it was needed to go ahead and make that call, even though we had made that decision, it was still not a very easy conversation to have with the doctor on the phone. Of course, I got her professional opinion. We had already talked about it as well. So she, while the news was still devastating to her coming out of surgery, it still wasn't an easy decision to make by any means, by any stretch. But she made it through, and that's all that matters. Her health was the number one priority. Whether natural conception would be possible or would ever be possible was on the back burner to her health. But for those of you who don't know, with her fallopian tubes being gone now, that takes out any opportunity of ever naturally conceiving a child. So that leads us to where we are now
in the timeline of things. So we went ahead and got the referral for a fertility clinic, and here where we are located, the closest one is an hour and a half away. So through kind of city traffic and stuff, so we didn't have a whole lot of options. So we just chose what we felt was best, because as in like traveling and because there's quite a few appointments between doctors, kind of all of that, and like success rates, we looked at all of that. And it's scary when you think about like adding all of the cost and the travel and taking your health into consideration and all of the things. So we tried to do as much research as we could possibly. There's one fertility clinic that is the most popular in this area, Shady Grove, but we decided to go with Morgantown's clinic, just for our location, and like for us, we thought that that was the best fit.
Yep, it's a road we are familiar with. Both of us have been to Morgantown many a times. We have connections if we ever need any help through that area. If we ever have any car issues, we know people that we can contact and could be there quickly. So that was another piece of us choosing Morgantown.
So they got the referral through pretty quickly. I think my surgery date was July 19th, and I think that we had our first visit with the fertility clinic August 23rd. So it was pretty quick kind of turnaround. I mean, I know you always wish for quicker when you go through something like this, but that was pretty quick for us. And then so we've kind of started our journey into IVF now. We have, unfortunately, between insurance and things like that, our insurance is not going to pay for any of it. So that is something that you have to consider whenever looking at IVF is cost, insurance. Some insurances will pay for part of it or some of the testing. Thankfully for us, our insurance covered pretty much everything, all of the surgeries and tests up until this point. So that's just something you have to consider when going into this route. We've already ordered our medications and the injections to start. We start in the next 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. So we have a few trips back and forth to Morgantown for blood work and for testing and things like that, but we kind of start pretty quickly. So this will be for our egg retrieval. So we'll start the injections October 18th, and then we'll have some doctor's appointments for those 2 weeks, and then we're looking at the egg retrieval near the end of October, and then it's just kind of a numbers game from there.
Yep. We are pretty much in the waiting part of it between the medication coming in and our next doctor's appointment, but it is a very exciting time. We have gotten more good news recently in the last couple of doctor's visits than we have in the last 2 years worth of doctor's visits. So it is a very hopeful time for us, a very nerve-wracking time, of course, but it is something that we are very excited for and another opportunity we can tackle together. I've talked about it before in this channel that when I left teaching, we actually worked at the same school. So we quite literally worked together, farmed together, we did everything together. And this is gonna be nothing different. This is just something else we get to tackle together. And I say get to, because I don't care if it's good, bad, or ugly, we're gonna tackle it together. So something we're excited for, another challenge that hopefully works out in our favor. So,
yep.
Anything else to add?
Yep.
All right, but if you are a prayer warrior, I know people have very different views on religion and things like that. But if you do pray, of course, I ask that you keep us in your prayers for many different things as far as the process of IVF, and in hopes that it works, successful transfers, successful trips to Morgantown and back, and financial guidance, of course. But we are excited and nervous and ready to get this ball rolling.
And if you are a girl going through something similar, please comment and reach out, and I can talk and help you through, because I feel like I've had almost every test that you could have up to this point. So I'd love to be a comfort for you and help you in any way that I can, because I did not know anything going into it. I didn't really know anybody going through this. So if you are somebody who is going through this, I would love to be able to help you and inform you about what the tests are, because it can be very scary. So
yeah, and we completely get it if you don't want to comment. So I'm going to leave our email in the description. I think it's hill_homestead@yahoo, but I will leave it in the description for you if you do not want to comment, because we get it. We are very private people as well, up until recently as far as our situation goes. I think we started posting it on Facebook here in the recent months, and now we're letting the world know what's going on. So do not feel alone. Even if you're a guy and supporting your wife, I know it's the most helpless feeling in the world. You wish you could take the emotional stress, the emotional pain, the physical pain from surgeries. You wish you could take it away from them and take it on yourself, but it is a hopeless situation for the guy, a helpless situation, I guess I should say, through a lot of the process. So we understand it, we get what you're going through, and you're not alone, obviously. So,
and this is why we wanted to do this, is so that you don't feel like you're alone.
Yeah. because we've felt that quite a bit. And once we started opening up, there's a lot of people that we know that have gone through many of the same thing or very similar situations. So it's definitely a more common, I don't want to say problem, but
situation.
A more common situation than a lot of people are aware of, or you're just scared to talk about it. So we are definitely here. If you guys want to reach out to either one of us, we would be happy to answer any questions to the best of our knowledge. We are not medical doctors, but we will try our best to support you as well. But I know this is a different video, but if you've made it this far, we definitely appreciate you watching. We will try to keep you guys updated as we go further into our adventure. But like I say, right now it's a waiting game for us as well. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.